Hello and welcome to this episode of the Business Spotlight. Today we are joined by Daniel. Hiya, Daniel.
Hello, how you doing?
Yeah, very good. Thanks for joining us today.
No problem.
Great stuff. So, for those of you that are joining us for the first time, what is the Business Spotlight? So, the Business Spotlight, it's a podcast where we interview local businesses and local business owners and just ask them a bit about their business, a bit about their journey, and just some of the challenges that they've experienced whilst building their business. So, if you yourself are thinking about getting into business, or you're already in business, or maybe looking at getting on that entrepreneurship journey, you're in the right place. So, Daniel, if you can just kick things off for us and just let our audience know who you are, what you do, and how long you've been doing it for.
Right, my name is Daniel Cheddie. The company's Glazesafes Limited, set up in about 2005, although my experience goes back a lot further than that. Glazesafes started off as a company that sells my own inventions that I supply to the glazing and construction industry. But my experience actually comes from window installs, double glazing. So it's kind of evolved. Glazesafes kind of evolved from a company that sells safety equipment to that industry to installing and carrying out the actual service as well. So we do everything. We provide a very unique service with our very unique products.
Wow, that's a fantastic share since 2005 as well.
Yeah. Organic, very slow growing, but very, very organic and safe. And I think growing very with a really strong base. So hopefully we don't go anywhere.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. Well, thank you for that. That's great. Nearly 20 years as well, Daniel. So brilliant. So you mentioned a couple of things there. If I can ask you a couple of questions around that. You mentioned that it's about some of your own inventions. So I'm kind of guessing that that's going to be one of the things that makes you pretty much unique to any other business out there. Tell us a little bit more about that.
So they both of the designs, both the products came out of pure necessity. So when I was carrying out window repairs on my own, we started off in just a small family business, me and my dad. We needed extra staff, but we didn't have them at the time. So I had to do a lot of the repairs on my own. So I designed something called the Sashmate a long time ago, back in 2005. This was the first product, and it worked. So got it patented, got it tested, done all the work, got them made abroad, brought that manufacturer back, and I'll probably get onto that later, maybe with one of your questions. And that's it now. It's an industry recommended product that allows window companies, double glazing window repairs, to do a lot of the repairs at height internally alone without scaffold or towers. So it's a massive USP for multiple reasons, for safety, for cost savings, for speed. So from that, we were selling that product really well. And one of our clients, which was a really, really big firm, a big facade firm that really loved the product, asked me to solve another issue that they had, which was working at height around an opening. So they would fit a facade to a building. And at that point of construction, there were no safety barriers. It was a big hole in the wall. And they needed something that wasn't bolted to the ground or caused any damage, but something that was immediate, something they could anchor to and be safe around this opening until the facade was installed. Sat on that for a little while thinking, I don't know if this is possible. And then one day it just came to me, designed something called the Stronghold, which again is all patented, trademarked, conforms to British standards. But then I went a little bit further and got standards around the world. So this is actually a worldwide product now, with conformity and patents in multiple countries. And that's gone really well. That's gone really, really well. So from that, in the sideline, I'm still doing the window installs and repairs myself, but worked out that with these products that I was selling and hiring to the industry, if I use those myself, as well as selling and hiring, I could also offer a full package USP to companies that were looking for an install. So we would save them scaffold and money and time and security by not having the scaffold with our own products. So we were or are the full package. So, and that's where we're kind of growing now into that package industry where we provide the whole service.
Wow, what a journey. That's amazing. That's a great share as
Yeah,
well. Thank you for that.
that's right, no problem.
So, so there's two products there that you've mentioned. So you've got the Sashmate and the Stronghold.
Yeah,
So just, I mean, just explain a little bit more about those each individually, if you can.
of course. I'll try not to bore you. It is a very, well, the Sashmate at least is a very industry specific thing. So I hope I don't bore your listeners. If you were working on an outward opening window, so you were changing the friction stays, which are the hinges, or a glass unit that in the older windows at least were glazed from the outside, you would need at least, if it was above ground floor, you would need a tower. Can't use ladders anymore, unfortunately, a lot of the time. So you would need a tower. Higher than that, you would need a scaffold. And people still, without that, when it's just not viable for the very quick job, they would have one person leaning out, holding this heavy sash potentially, without any backup. So if they drop it, it's gone, or if they fall, they're gone, of course. So the Sashmate is very quick. It's set up in a minute, maybe less, to the opening with the window out, and it supports that sash, that open window, sorry, in an open position. So the equivalent of that is someone leaning out and holding that sash. So I can take all the fixings off, shut the hinges, pull the sash in for repairs, and all of that can be done in probably 5 minutes. So
Wow.
that's not just getting rid of the cost of scaffold and tower. It's speeding up a job, which with all that involved could take half a day with the setup of tower. And I'm doing a whole repair in probably 10, 15 minutes, including changing the parts. So yeah, all tested. It made the Glass and Glazing Federation Code of Practice for working at height. That's our sort of governing body in the UK. And yeah, sold it. Our export, the biggest market for us is Australia, because they work on the same products as us. They use the same products. So
Yeah.
we sell to Australia as well. That's our main.
Wow.
Export.
Congratulations. And then obviously you mentioned the other one, the Stronghold.
Yeah, Stronghold. The Sashmate is very specific to a very niche use, but you can't do it without it. So there's no competition for that. The Stronghold, on the other hand, is a very, very, it benefits a very, very wide spectrum of works and sites. So just to give you an idea, you can use it for replacing a window, but you can use it working on a lift shaft, for instance. You can use it if you needed to gain access to a roof that was for survey maybe, that was next to an opening window. So you could set it around the opening window on the inside of the building, attach your harnesses, your working lines to it, extend it safely. So you're outside of the building on this roof, but you've got the safety of the work positioning line and harness so you can't fall. So it's for every single use around a vertical opening in the construction industry. So it's completely limitless to what it can be put to use for. Do you want me to tell you a little bit more about the Stronghold? That's probably where you can use it. But
Yeah, that would be brilliant. Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So it's you'll find it on the website. It's really simple. It's an aluminium piece of equipment. When it's all folded down, it looks like a golf buggy, basically. Really, really small, goes in the back of any van. Set it up in probably about 5 minutes with no tools. Anyone can do it. There's one bolt for one hole. So if you haven't got a bolt in a hole, it doesn't look right. So you cannot mess it up. Fully adjustable to work at multiple dimensions. So really tall windows, really wide windows. Can do all of that. No damage to the walls or floors. So when you've set it up, use it. As soon as you take it down and get rid of it, that's it. Job done. No decor, no damage. No one will ever know you're there, but the job's done. So we've saved. We've got loads of case studies on the website, but we saved one company an estimated 2 million. That's from their own words on scaffold. They've got a continuous contract for 3 blocks of flats. Now, I don't know I can't remember how high these blocks of flats were, but I think they're sort of 25 plus stories, and they've got a continuous contract to change the hinges on these buildings. So it's a continuous saving of scaffold. They wouldn't be able to do it otherwise. Yeah, so hopefully I've kind of summarised very quickly.
Yeah, no, that's been fantastic. Thank you for that share, Daniel. So, I mean, wow, what a journey so far. So, I mean, this is nearly a 20-year journey. So, I mean, what's the future hold? I mean, what sort of things have you got coming up in the pipeline and going forward?
I'm hopefully going to, I think I've mentioned just now, I'm hopefully going to expand now to offer the full service to larger contractors and clients. So at the moment, it's been a lot of domestic work, although we have done schools and similar buildings. But we're looking now to go a little bit further than that and hopefully get the stronghold presented to CDM companies. So the product is part of their design management system. So if a building's going up today, it will need maintaining in a few years. And I would like this to be one of the systems that they recommend used for maintaining this building. So that might be a one in the background that develops slowly, but I hope that when it does come around, we are, being the patent holders and the designers, the one that can offer this directly or maybe through licenses or subcontractors, however it may be, but it will be the stronghold that's used. And also, fingers crossed, in the background as well, we have a lead, and hopefully it comes to fruition, that we will be exporting to the US and selling to the hire companies over there. And that will be a sale to the hire companies and let them do the work. Obviously, the US is an absolutely huge market, and I don't think I would do it justice if I had to try and hire directly there.
Wow. So you've got some big potential things coming up. So what do you think are going to be some of your main challenges going forward then, Daniel?
I think my naivety is probably my saving grace. It's a little bit of ignorance is bliss. What I can foresee is probably just getting to those markets and at speed as well. I mean, I could do it organically like I've been doing it now and having meetings and slowly growth and presenting and then maybe giving them a call in a month's or 2 months' time. But that's so slow and safe, but it's not really where I want to go now. I want to really kickstart this again. So I think my issue will be how to get to these markets and these clients, because I know I've got something they really, really need. I've proved that through case studies and clients, big clients that have already used the systems. So I know it works. I just need to get in front of these people and tell them why I can save them loads of money. And that might sound easy to another company where their main market is sales. But for me, not being sales, I'm more of a service provider or a reactive service provider. They come to us generally. I think my biggest issue will be how to find these people for one, and how to get a meeting with these people. I think after that, fingers crossed, it should be a done deal. But it's getting in front of the people to start with that's the issue for me.
Yeah, no, it's a very good point that you've highlighted there, and it's one that lots of companies face. So yeah, I think the thing is though, Daniel, to be honest with you, when you've got the sort of tenacity and drive and passion that you've clearly got, I'm sure that you will be able to make that happen. So thanks for that share. That's been really good. So moving on to yourself then, I mean, it's been nearly 20 years in the making from the business sort of inception back in 2005. So what would you say if you had to narrow it down to just one main lesson that you've learned as a business owner? What would it be?
I know, very difficult, but for me, it's probably never taking no as an answer. And that's probably not, I don't mean that from a sales point of view. Because yeah, sometimes I suppose you really should take no as an answer and move on, because you're giving your name a bad business if you keep on at someone. But the never taking no as an answer is probably when you're doing research and you know you're onto something good, just keep going, because the people that you're asking for opinions or maybe research, there's multiple reasons why they might not be giving you the information you really need. It might be jealousy, it might be the lack of understanding, it might be the lack of their entrepreneurship. They might be an employee, and I'm not digging employees at all, if you can see what I mean.
Yeah.
They might just be missing the entrepreneurial aspects that you have. So if you think you're onto something good, and you might not always be, and I've had other businesses and they're probably not always the best ideas, but you've got to try everything as well. Maybe that's another thing that I would say. But if you think you're onto something good, exhaust every possibility until you know for yourself, not because someone else has told you, but you know in your gut that, yeah, it's probably not the right one. It's time to move on.
Yeah, I think that's a great share. I think, you know, having that sort of that tenacity to sort of have that drive and that ambition, and like you say, not taking no for an answer is a great quality and a great trait, and clearly a great lesson as well. So thanks for that share, Daniel. So Daniel, we're gonna go back in time now. I haven't got a time machine, but if you just humour me, we're going to jump in like, I don't know, a DeLorean. So the flux capacitor's flashing away, it's working. We're going to hit 88 miles an hour, and we're going to go back in time. We're going to go back to an 18-year-old Daniel. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to get to give yourself, when you was 18, one piece of advice. What would it be?
Invest in Google. Business. I would say, although I would say I'm a risk taker in business, I would contradict that my own self by saying I've done it very slowly and organically. What I would tell myself is take more risk, just go for it, just make more phone calls and get in front of people and do what I have done, but just with more aggression. And I think I would have been in this place because I know the product's good, but I would have been in this place that I am today at 43. I would have probably been there years and years earlier. And that's probably it, I think. That's probably it. Apart from investing.
That's a pretty sound piece of advice. I think that's a pretty sound piece of advice. It's quite a common one that I hear people saying, take bigger risks, take that aggression or that aggressive or more aggressive approach, more direct approach. So that's a great share. Thank you very much for that, Daniel. So, I mean, you're clearly very passionate and understandably so about your products and the services that you provide. But what is it that really puts that fire in your belly? What is it that, you know, gives you that inspiration each day, each week to do what you do?
I think it's the result of when you do provide a service with my own products. I think that's such a lovely thing to do. And they're not my babies. I don't care about that. I don't care if anyone uses them and does well with them. But it's lovely to see something that I've created being used and saving money and everything else. But I do have an aspect of the love of hopefully saving someone from injury, because they really do. And we will never know. You'll never know unless someone phoned me up and said, "Oh, I tripped and nearly fell out the window and I had the harness attached to me." I don't think anyone's ever going to make that phone call to me. But I like to think that they're actually making a difference. And as I say, they're patented products. So when I die, fingers crossed, maybe the patent will be, done and dusted, because they don't last forever. But being that it's been in the market for that long, hopefully it's still a recognised method, and it's something I can pass down to my kids. And hopefully it's not the run of the mill. It's not normal to invent something and get it to market and for it to actually work. So I don't know. I'm just quite proud of that fact that I'm leaving something on the earth that will make a difference. And hopefully it comes with loads of money that I can pass down to generations as well. But I think that's what keeps me going. I know it works, and I know people are happy when they use it. So I think that's enough really for me.
I think that's a really nice thing to sort of bring this to a near close is that you've kind of created, well, not kind of, you have created something that you're leaving a legacy there, Daniel. So, and like you say, it can be passed on to generations beyond, you know, your life. So I think that's a great way to sort of wrap things up there. So lastly, before we do go our separate ways, I know that there's going to be a lot of our viewers that are going to have watched this interview and they're going to want to get in touch with you and they're going to want to find out more. So, Daniel, what's the best way for people to do that? What's the website? What's the best contact details and how can people get in touch?
So the website is all the w's.glazesafe.com, glazecom.com. Sorry, glazesafe.com, sorry. The number's there, but it's 01992 302 133. My direct email is daniel@glazesafe.com. And I'm happy to talk to anyone about anything. We do, strangely enough, because we were on the Dragon's Den, we got a deal with Two of the Dragons, so that there was quite a bit of publicity from that. And people I know, probably haven't seen for decades, would come out and get in contact because they had an idea for an invention. And I'm more than happy if that's all I'm offering, just a little bit of advice on ideas, patents, manufacture of new products, prototypes, anything like that. So I don't expect every call or email just to be about what I can offer. So I hope it is, but if it does come to be an email that I can offer some help back, I'm glad to do that. I like to see entrepreneurship and design and inventions is exciting. Something new is very exciting.
Well, that's fantastic, Daniel. Thank you very much for that share. And I'm loving the fact that you left it right until the last minute just to drop the little bomb in there that, yeah, I was on Dragon's Den and I've got 2 dragons invested from the den. It's like, wow, you left that to the last minute.
Not invested. I've got them on the show, just so you know, Mark.
Okay.
Didn't take investment. I've got them on the show.
Oh, you got
That's
them on
all
the show,
really
but you
matters.
didn't take it. Oh, even better.
Yeah, we had meetings. It wouldn't have worked.
Yeah. Oh, well, this is fantastic. Well, look, if people don't want to find out more about that, then I don't know what's wrong with them. That's for sure.
There you go.
Brilliant. Well, Daniel, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your time.
And thanks for everybody, all of our audience out there. That is a wrap. That's the end of this business podcast. And until next time, we'll see you all again very soon. Bye for now.